is you. Or more precisely, all the atoms or building blocks from which you're made. You are made up of over 10 billion atoms. A monumentous number. But these can all be divided into 60 different chemical elements, and 27 of these are absolutely essential for life. Take one away and you probably wouldn't survive for very long. Now 99%, nearly your entire body is made up of just 6 elements. You are 2/3 water, so hydrogen and oxygen, which make up water, are clearly 2 of those important elements. Then carbon, for the long chains of sugars, the slippery fats, and the strong proteins that make up your muscles. Nitrogen is also important for proteins, calcium for the structure of your bones, and phosphorus for DNA. So that's about 99% of your body, and nearly the whole remaining percent is made of 5 other elements. Sodium and chlorine, which you'll recognize from your salt on your table at home, sulfur, potassium, and magnesium. Now, everything else we require in only very small quantities, trace quantities, and we call these trace elements. So, take iron, for example. You have about 4 grams of this metal in your body, and most of it's bound to proteins. Iron-containing proteins are found in all organisms, from the most primitive bacteria all the way up the evolutionary scale to humans. In fact, the red color of your blood is due to an iron-containing protein called hemoglobin, and this is responsible for transporting gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide all around your body to where they're needed. But iron also has a darker side, because this hemoglobin is the very same molecule the malaria parasite feeds on when it invades your body. The trace element we require in the smallest quantity is a metal called cobalt, and you only have about 3 milligrams of this in your body. That's just a sprinkling. Now, cobalt is a very important part of vitamin B12, and you need vitamin B12 for the correct functioning of your brain and nervous system, and also for the formation of your blood cells. If you don't get enough of cobalt or vitamin B12, you'll be weak, tired, and depressed. The thing is, we can't make our own vitamin B12. No animal can. Only bacteria can make vitamin B12, and so we're reliant on bacteria to make the B12 for us, and then we digest it when we eat. So even though we might like to think of ourselves as complex and independent organisms, we're still reliant on the very simplest beings, the bacteria, because without them, we wouldn't be able to survive.
You've got a wealth of information, aren't you? It's a standing encyclopedia.
Well,
you go to take
reading, read.
And I think what allows you to carry that amount of information is the way you carry it across. This an easy flow of conversation, and very charismatic. He's quite a nice guy, and that's part of what allows you to bring across that large volume of information, but it's still a large volume of information. And I still felt that you can be overwhelmed by all of this information. And at some point I was wondering, what's the point? Well, that's it.
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, that's a rhetorical question.
Can I ask? So, what is the point? What's the take-home message for anybody in the audience?
Well, I like to call this talk the human element, and I think there are 2 take-home messages. The one is obviously our chemical composition, but the other is that even though we're a bunch of chemicals, we're still part of an environment and a world, and we're reliant on other organisms. So those were the 2 main.
Yeah, no, great. I wish I had a cobalt boost right now, but
for you.
I wondered what the blue stuff was. But in any event, I think it was a very good blend of bringing in components of elements, the inorganic world, and juxtaposing it with, or bringing it side by side with where in our lives we see all of that. And I think there was a reasonable balance in the way in which you presented the stuff, with the composition of the elements to the complexity. And congratulations, I think it was wonderful.
Well, very well done. The one thing that I must say is that I felt like I was listening to one of my students. And I was wondering, before you came here, did you know who you'll be talking to?
No clue.
So,
I mean,
in terms of the audience, yeah.
Audience.
Do you think the people who were listening to you understood what you were saying when you mentioned these chemical elements and cobalt, iron, and so on?
I hope so.
Very well done.